Hello, English 110 students. Welcome to your Module 5. Let's go ahead and get started. Sorry, I'm readjusting the size of my screen here. So on Monday, October 8th, obviously, your module opened at 8 a.m. I'm a little bit behind getting this video posted, but hopefully by, say, 1:30 or so, you will be watching this. My apologies for the delay. It's been a real whirlwind getting everything set up for classes to resume for the regular non-OAP classes today. It's been something else, I'll tell you what, but we're back and we're rocking. On Wednesday at 11:59 p.m., your discussion part A is due. On Friday, your discussion part B is due, and your draft and peer review part A. And then Sunday, your assignment 4 A and B, and then part B of your draft and peer review are due. So there's a little bit more to do this week, so please pace yourself accordingly. This is sort of the nature of the end of the semester, but I tried to space it out so it wouldn't be like totally chaos. So this week's going to be a little heavy, next week's going to be a little light, and then the final week will be a little heavier again. So, we just got to kind of power through for the next few weeks, and then we are done. I'll let you look through this information at your own time, but moving into the readings, we're going to start tackling drama. So who doesn't love drama? I don't like my own drama, but I like to watch, my dirty secrets. I like reality TV. So I very much enjoy other people's drama, not my own. But I also like reading drama. So we will look at these selected readings from your textbook. With this in mind, if you are interested in writing about Hamlet for your final essay, you will need to go ahead and start at least skimming that to get some idea of what you want to say about Hamlet in your essay. We're just a little bit behind because of that. I had to push my readings in a different direction a little bit, so everything's a-okay, but we are not going to get to Hamlet until next week. So then moving on, I'll let you read the discussion post at your own or on your own time. I think you kind of have a sense of how to do this, but this one is about drama. So it's a little bit different than our short story information, and definitely different from our poetry, but I hope you'll enjoy it. So your discussion questions are here, kind of short today, and then you of course have all your responses and then the guidelines down here. This is your essay folder. I have it in here once again, so that way you have access to everything. If you click in here, you will have all of your information. So you have your essay prompt in here. If you haven't looked at this already, please make sure you do so. We also have your essay rubric, essay overview. We have the draft and peer review information, which you will be using this module, MLA documentation formats, and in-text citation information. So it's all in here. This isn't your first time seeing this information, but it is a good time to review it once again. Okay, let's chit-chat a little bit about your Module 5 peer review. The link above will direct you to a discussion board that is comprised of you and 2 or 3 other class members. I tried to break it apart evenly, but we don't have an even number, so some of you might have 3 class members, some of you might have 2. My apologies, that's just the way it goes. So rather than discussing with the entire class or the peer review, you will just be working in your small groups. So I'll show you how to get into your group. It's going to look a little different on my end because I'm not actually in a group. But once you click groups, it will have a group here for you to click in. But I'm left out. I'm not in a group. So it just tells me that I'm not enrolled. But you should be able to go into your group. Once you go into your group, it's going to look a little familiar. You'll hit group discussion board, and you've seen this before. And this is where all your stuff will take place for the peer review. So let me scoot back here. Okay, all of the documents needed to complete the assignment are located in the essay folder. However, you can find the necessary peer review documents attached below too. So you can get this information here or right here. Be sure to review all of the materials in the essay folder. This folder houses the assignment prompt, the rubric, MLA templates, and more. So the English 110 draft and peer review, let's look at this. So this course encourages students to approach writing as a process rather than a product. So it's not about what you end up with. Yes, sure, that is important. And you do want to end up with a fantastic essay. But the emphasis is on getting to that product. It's the same thing. Like, yeah, if you're going on a vacation, let's say you're going on a road trip, sure, you want to get to the place you go, but the process to get there, you don't want it to be chaos. You want it to be a smooth trip, right? Hopefully no road bumps along the way. So you can't get to point B if there's some disaster and you like get a flat tire or something. You get to point B by having an appropriate process to getting there. And it's really important to remember that just like driving, we don't get to point B on just a straight path. I mean, maybe sometimes you do have like just one single road to go down, but generally we have to take turns, and sometimes we make the wrong turn and we have to do a U-turn, and then sometimes we have to go in reverse, and sometimes we have to turn right, sometimes we have to turn left. Sometimes we get a flat tire or our car breaks down, we have to get a brand new car, right? It's the same thing in writing. Our writing does not follow a linear path. It takes twists and turns, and ideas change, and we have to scrap some ideas and start new ones. It's very much like a roller coaster. You go up and down and upside down and right and left. So the process is not linear. And so with that in mind, you will submit a comprehensive rough draft of the essay for peer review. After submitting a rough draft and receiving feedback, you will enact a revision of writing, thereby demonstrating an awareness of the ongoing nature of the writing process. So part A, draft and reflection. The first part of this assignment requires students to attach a comprehensive draft of the essay and craft responses to prompts 1 through 3 below into the Blackboard content editor. So let me read through these and then I'll show you how to do that on Blackboard. So number 1, what is the topic of your essay and why have you chosen this topic? Number 2, what elements of this essay have you struggled with, formatting, organization, thesis statement, etc.? And number 3, list at least 3 elements you would like for your peer review partners to focus on while they review your paper. So this is part A. Let's hop back into Blackboard. So once you get into your group, and I'm going to pretend I'm in group 1, and you'll click group discussion board, and then you'll go into the module 5 peer review. So this is important. Once you get into the discussion board, you don't want to create a forum. That's like a whole different thing. You want to hop into the module 5 peer review, then hit create thread. So once you're in here, the answers to 1 through 3 will go in this section, and then you'll attach your essay as a Word document. So the answers to questions 1 through 3, you'll type up in here, hello, in here, and then you will attach your essay here for your partners to read. So that is how you'll get your paper into the small group peer review. And let me hop back here, sorry. With that in mind, let me do that out. This is a little bit confusing. So originally this was designed to have people in more groups. So the second part of this assignment requires students to provide feedback to at least 2 other students based on your peers' responses to prompts 1 through 3 and the peer editing worksheet, which I'll show you. Now this is a little bit different because I changed my mind last minute and I put you in groups of 2 or 3. So you will need to provide feedback to at least 1 person in your group. Here's the deal though. You can't leave one of your group members hanging, right? So when you get into the discussion board, if someone's already responded to one person's paper, you will need to respond to the other person. So there should be no writer who goes unseen here. So please make sure that everyone in your group is seen. Hopefully that will make life a little bit easier for you guys. I don't want you to feel like you have to review, 5 million different papers. So again, you need to look at one person's paper and don't leave any of your classmates hanging. Everyone should have a peer-reviewed paper. I will let you look at these guidelines on your own time. Please, please, please make sure you know what to do with this information because I will be using this info to grade your peer review discussion forums. So that way you should also be using them. Okay, so it says here that you'll need to use the peer editing worksheet. That is here. I have it here as a PDF in case you want that for some reason, but it's probably easiest to use the the Word document. I couldn't think of what it was called for a second. So when you hop into the peer editing worksheet, this is what will come up. Here it says, complete this worksheet with detailed specific feedback to ensure you have provided a comprehensive peer review to your partner. Keep in mind the words of Lester Fisher. Quote, remember that your partner is a human being. Your job is to neither impress him or her with your cleverness, nor earn his or her affection with false praise. What the writer needs is an honest, specific reaction with constructive suggestions, which are not directions, but simply suggestions. Everything you do should support the writer during the writer's search for subject and voice. End quote. You may complete your evaluation using this worksheet, but when you submit your peer review on Blackboard, be sure to copy and paste your finished evaluation into the Blackboard content editor. So I'm being a little bit of a stickler about the content editor right now because I want you to make sure you know how to use it and the difference between that and attaching your in your work, because you will be required to use the Blackboard content editor for your final essay. We'll talk about that later, but it's just good to make sure you know how to do it now rather than messing it up later. This makes it easier also for the writer to review his or her feedback informally, say on a break at work, before getting down to brass tacks and starting on the final revision. You may also attach this file, but only in addition to posting your feedback directly into the Blackboard content editor. Read the essay quickly and get to the gist. Then, reread your partner's paper carefully and complete the worksheet. Don't provide basic yes or no answers to questions. Instead, make specific detailed suggestions that will help the writer revise the paper effectively. And then here are the questions. So you can write your answers right into this worksheet and then copy and paste it into the Blackboard editor. And if you like, you can also attach this, but you do need to copy and paste your answers. So that is the peer review worksheet. And then here's also the rubric for your peer review. Again, I'll let you look through this at your own time, but it is worth 100 points. So this is a really easy way to get 100 points on your grade. It's also a really easy way to not get 100 points on your grade. So really, what you need to do are all these steps. You don't need to do anything more than this, and you should not be doing anything less than this. This is it. The rubric tells you everything that you need to do. So just make sure you're following the instructions and adhering to the guidelines of the rubric, and hopefully you will get all 100 points. But do keep in mind that if there are parts missing, I do have to take off points. Ooh, okay. Moving on. Module 5, Assignment A. So we have not talked much about STIF yet, and we really need to talk about STIF in terms of genre. Here it says, so far this semester we have talked about fiction, poetry, and drama. However, STIF, The Curious Lives of Human Cadavers, doesn't fit into any of these genres. In some ways, it loosely fits within fiction because in places there is conjecture or speculation. However, it is technically a non-fiction work. Plus, it tells multiple stories rather than a single plotline. As such, this text definitely requires further consideration. This assignment will ask you to look at both the content of the text and the genre using evidence from the text. Using evidence from the text, please answer the following questions. Read the assignment thoroughly, and the grading policies and rubric are below. So there's only 3 questions here. Question 1, though this book is made of separate stories, how do they work together to create a single unifying idea? What is that idea? Number 2, this text is also intended to be funny. However, literature and humor is tricky. In what ways does the author create humor? And number 3, based upon your experience with this book, what are the essential elements for the nonfiction genre? So just 3 questions here. Here are the expectations. All questions must be answered in at least 150 words per question. Each answer must have at least one supporting, that says on, but it should say one, at least one supporting quote from the text. Answers must be thoughtful and formally articulated. Doesn't have to be, a research paper, but it should be thoughtful and articulated clearly. And students should be familiar with the rubric below. So here is the rubric. It's not anything fancy. It is 50 points pass-fail. Again, easy 50 points if you do all the parts. All of the questions must be addressed. Answers to the questions must be at least 150 words. Each answer has at least one supporting quote, and all answers are thoughtfully and formally articulated. So all you have to do is meet those requirements, and bada bing, bada boom, you're done. Moving on to Module 5. I'm sorry, let me back up 1 second. So once you get into here, I left out one part. Please answer these questions in a minimum of 150 words per question, and then type your content directly into the content editor. So your information, well, you'll hit write submission, and that's where you'll update your computer. Sorry about that. Then you'll type your information here. So all of your answers to those questions will need to go into this submission box. You can type it in a Word document and copy and paste it. That's especially helpful if you're looking to see what your word count is. I don't think that the text box submission will, oh no, it does give you, well, it's supposed to update it down here, but I don't really trust Blackboard. It's probably best for you to type it into Word and then copy and paste it into the content editor. Then you can hit submit and you are done. Okay. Let me know if you have any questions about that. I'm happy to help. And then last but not least, your second assignment is actually a quiz. So here it says, this assignment is actually a quiz. Given the heavy workload this week, this will give you a chance to learn about the genre of drama while also having a second to breathe. To complete this quiz, you will need to read this week's reading materials about drama and genre. You can take this quiz twice, and your highest grade will be recorded. It's open book, so get your stuff out and be ready to look up the answers in the book. There's no trick questions in here. It's really a matter of looking through the reading and answering the questions. So to take this quiz, you'll click in here, and it'll take you into the quiz, and you can hit begin. There are 25 questions at 2 points each. Don't quote me on that because now I can't remember. I've made so many quizzes this week. Now I can't remember. But despite how many questions there are, you will be able to take the quiz 2 times. So if you feel like you need that second time to get your grade up, that's fine. When you take the quiz, you will get a little information about whether or not it was right or wrong and where to find the information in the book. So, you know, this is probably a pretty easy way to get a good grade. And that's it for the week. It's a lot of work. I know that. I'm hoping that some of having only 3 questions here and taking a quiz rather than a big writing assignment will help speed up the pace for you. If you have questions, let me know. Otherwise, have a wonderful day. Bye.